Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today from Jakks Pacific, in their video game line, we are featuring the wildly incredible Werewolf from the classic Sega video game Altered Beast. Alright, so today is September 20th, 2024. I believe this figure might have come out maybe I want to say 6 to 8 months ago. I saw this at my local Walmart and it blew my mind. In addition to this, they also made a Streets of Rage Axel figure, and I was just completely dumbfounded. I'm like, am I seeing things? Never did I expect an Altered Beast action figure in any form, let alone to find it at Walmart. You know, stuff like this, you kind of figure it's usually localized to the Asian markets and it's produced by some expensive third-party company. But to see this in a mainstream retail store just blew my mind. Altered Beast, it's a classic video game, and for me to call it classic is crazy because when this video game came out back in the day in arcades, you know, a video game like Pac-Man to me was considered classic, and this was 1989. So in 2024, to get an action figure of the Werewolf is just nuts. And I'm so stoked on this. I'm really hoping that Jakks moves forward and gives us more Sega properties. But this looks awesome. The box looks great. Oh, and speaking of the box, just for the heck of it, we have this. The original Altered Beast cartridge on the Sega Genesis or Megadrive. Beautiful artwork, which you can see they pulled the image from. I kind of wish they got a cleaner image. This one looks like it's just a horrible scan. But yeah, they have that. Here's the actual artwork on the back. Enter a time when men were warriors and gods ruled the world. So, Altered Beast. This is one of those games where, as fond as I am of it, I can admit that it doesn't really feel like it holds up all that well. There's a couple of arcades. I'm very fortunate where I live. There's a handful of arcades in my area, and some of them are retro arcades. And one of them has an Altered Beast machine, and every now and then I'll fire it up and I'll play Altered Beast, and I'll think to myself, this game doesn't look as pretty as I thought it did back in the day. But you know, back then it was the cat's meow. You know, everyone loved Altered Beast. Here's the instruction manual. It's seen better days. Mine's a little bit beat up. You know, the power of the spirit ball. This allows you to transform into the werewolf, and that's actually an accessory you get with the figure. It's right there. And then there was also this catalog, Sega Genesis. This is cool. I miss stuff like this. This was such a great time. If you grew up during the 80s and 90s, you know, chances are you probably have fond memories of your childhood. Oh my God, Rambo. I forgot about that video game. Man, this was such an awesome time to be alive as a gamer. I loved Phantasy Star 2. That was awesome. All these games are awesome. All right, so enough of that. Let's take a look at the figure. All right, so we have the Werewolf. Now I'm going to say it right off the bat. This looks like one of Jakks' most detailed figures in some time. And when I say that, I mean including their other video game properties like Mario and Sonic. The sculpting on this looks incredible. There's all sorts of washes and highlighting and shading going on to really give some depth and volume and realism. And that's awesome. So it's such a beautiful figure. Very iconic screen grab from the arcade game. This is when you take in the spirit orb and you transform into the werewolf. It'd be nice if they gave us a box set where it not only comes with the werewolf, but the two other figures of his previous forms as he evolves into this. I think that'd be fantastic. 24 points of articulation, and that's awesome because this is a small figure. This is about, I think 4.5 to 5 inches tall, and for it to have that much articulation, I think is just incredible. Here's a little accessory. And there's actually a peg here too, which is surprising. Maybe it's meant to be displayed on a display. If you have some of the Nintendo and Sonic accessories, Some of the accessories do have small display bases, so maybe you could actually attach that to this. Possibly. Alright, so we have the werewolf. First off, let's take a look at his height. I'm curious to see how tall this guy is. This is a really cool figure. He comes in at about 5 inches, so it's pretty short. You know, it's not at the same height of like a Marvel Legends or a McFarlane figure. For example, next to the McFarlane figures, it's going to be completely dwarfed by the McFarlane figure. Marvel Legends Wolverine, which is one of the shorter figures in the line. And then here's Vulcan from the Marvel Legends X-Men line also. So much shorter figure, but, you know, nonetheless, I think it's fantastic. One thing right off the bat that I'm noticing is that this guy has butterfly joints, and they move so smoothly. I have the Axel from the Streets of Rage figure right here, and this one, the butterfly joints are horrible. They don't want to move, so, you know, thankfully this one does. This is an outstanding action figure. Just look at that. The sculpting is beautiful. The attention to detail, you know, they spare no expense. There's beautiful shading in the fur. The teeth are nicely done, as are the eyes. This is a wild-looking action figure. It's so cool. I mean, I think the only drawback is that it seems like if this was a larger figure, you could use it as a generic werewolf figure for like any other line if it was larger. You know, if this was the same scale as a Marvel Legends, you could easily just blend it into your Marvel Legends, but due to its size, it's kind of limited in terms of like your displayability, you know, outside of just putting it next to like some of the other video game figures. But even then, I think that's what kind of hurts it because, you know, for example, Jada Toys, they have their Street Fighter line, and that's, I think, roughly like a smaller scale 6-inch figure. Storm Collectibles, they produce their line of like Mortal Kombat, Golden Axe, Street Fighter, King of Fighters, Samurai Showdown, but those are much larger 7 to like 8-inch scale action figures. You know, McFarlane has their Mortal Kombat figures, which are about 7-inch scale. But they're older McFarlane video game figures, like I think Borderlands, that might be 6 inches. So, you know, as great as these action figures are, I kind of feel they missed the mark at being at the smaller scale. But at the same time, it allows them to be much more affordable. But the cool thing with this, though, is that, you know, even though it's a smaller figure, you could still display it alongside like your Nintendo Jakks specific Nintendo characters like Samus or Link or Princess Zelda. You know, this thing will feel at home with those action figures because they're all within the same height range. But the werewolf is awesome. The head, nice movement. Kind of looks down a little bit. Kind of looks up, not too much. Again, very impressed with the butterfly joint. I hate butterfly joints because they're either stuck or they don't really do much, but these actually move and allow for a greater range of motion. You have nice articulation in the arms and bicep. The wrist are articulated as well. They swivel and they also bend, which is good. And I feel like I just ripped mine off or something. It's not moving as smooth as it should. God, I hope I didn't break it. All right, I'm like paranoid now because I'm bending the wrist, but it's kind of doing that weird thing where it feels like if you've handled enough toys, you'll know when you broke something, and it almost feels like I might have broke it. I'm probably wrong on that, though. I might just be being paranoid. The double pinned elbows. Alright, so that's the only thing that's kind of bothering me, is that the joints feel a little bit gummy on my figure. They move it and all that, but they don't kind of have that crispness that I'm looking for. Nice articulation, mid-torso. I kind of wish the waist would swivel, because it seems like with the way that it's designed here with the fur, it seems like it'd be a natural cut, but it's not cut there. It's cut mid-torso. But they do a decent job because they do it where it's kind of disguised within the musculature of the torso. And then you have leg articulation, and it's that antiquated ball-jointed hip, which I hate. I hate this style of articulation. It's kind of weird. It doesn't always work right, but it's all right. And then double pin knees, and then you have articulated ankles. So wonderful figure. Like I said, this is something I did not expect. It was a nice, pleasant surprise. I love the fact that in 2024 we're getting action figures of stuff that it's not as mainstream as like Mario and like Smash Brothers or Zelda and Pokemon, but if you're a gamer, you know your history, and stuff like Streets of Rage and Altered Beasts, they're always going to be in the video game Hall of Fame, especially for what they brought to their respective genres. And I think it's wonderful that Jakks is diving into this. There's also a Super Monkey Ball figure, which I didn't get. But, I'm hoping they just dive in deep and give us more figures. I'd love to see figures from, like, Virtua Fighter, Fighting Vipers, and any of their other properties, like anything that's not Sonic related. Don't get me wrong, I love Sonic, but Sega has such a deep library of video games that I think it'd be great to just get characters from other things, like maybe like Shenmue or Yakuza. So, yeah, great figure, great value. If you see these at your local Walmart, don't hesitate, grab them. I don't think you'll be disappointed. All right, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.